Most of thoracic aneurysm conditions have some genetic root cause, but not all of those genetic causes can be identified. In the practice of aortic medicine, we might screen for genetically triggered thoracic aortic conditions, and that would be usually a gene panel that runs about 22 genes, 22 specific genes out of the, however, very many genes we have in the body. And each of those 22 genes could have thousands and thousands of different mutations within that particular gene. So it's a very, very broad field. We've named which of those genetic mutations are known to be what we call pathogenic, associated with certain genetic syndromes that are known to be bad behaviors when it comes to aortic aneurysms. And those conditions would usually get special treatment within the context of the guidelines and lead to earlier surgical intervention, and also might lead to a need to screen for aneurysms in other locations in the body, and also to screen family members, because most of these genetic disorders, when they're identified, they're quite heritable. There's something called autosomal dominant, which means that some of that problem is going to be passed on to the next generation and is going to be present amongst what we call first-degree family members, so siblings, parents, children. Now, whether or not it's appropriate to do genetic testing for every patient with dilated aorta or aneurysm, it's also a great question. The problem is that because we're really scratching the surface of understanding the genetics of thoracic aortic disease, if you did genetic testing on everybody, you'd probably have less than 10% of people would turn out to have a mutation that's even worth discussing, and even less so of ones that are of pathogenic status. But it's still something we're learning a lot about. And here at Vassar, we're actually involved in a very interesting project that is about to be launched. We're being supported by one of the biggest genetics companies in the country to be able to help us increase our yield of understanding what could be understood about a particular gene panel. And we're pretty good at identifying certain nuances of a patient's clinical profile, their family history, that show us when we might want to pursue genetic testing.